Jumping Man the Gamer here, and as promised, this is probably going to be the last episode on Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Turns out, me being an idiot, I didn't realise that the music volume was still up, so it's probably why in the last two videos you couldn't really hear my voice properly. But hopefully, you should be able to hear me in this one. So I'll just press login. Yeah, you'll have noticed in the side stories that there's the test VM option, which if I click on it now, it comes up with this screen. There's a lot of random symbols and things, but it scrolls down a little bit. It'll give you, each time will give you a new little sample of text. Somewhere. Opening the third eye creates a deep brain channel which causes sentient characteristics such as consciousness and free thought too, and then it cuts off. Yeah, like I said, each time you click on the test VM option, it'll come up with new little lore segments, which hopefully Team Salvato was talking about Project Libertino. Now that's been hinted throughout like the lore and stuff. I'm just wondering if or when that game is going to come out. Anyway, as promised, I have all of the emails, as you can see. So just start directly from the bottom. By iBlaster, have a nice weekend. The date 12/9/2019. From iBlaster to Untitled Mail Group. Date Monday, December 9th, 2019, 12:06 AM. Subject: have a nice weekend. I'm on leave the rest of the week. Contact Ravi if you need to schedule server time, but I expect my jobs to run for a few days since we've collected so much data this week. How about we arrange a meeting to discuss the results when I return? Signed, iBlaster, Senior Engineer. So already we've got one character, Ive. Move on to the next email. It's by Rhea Vorte, titled Side Stories, date 12/8/2019. It's from Rhea Vorte to Untitled Mail Group. The date is Sunday, December 8th, 2019, 12:06 AM. It's strange because this one at the top is the last one you get, but it's earlier. If that makes sense? Like it's the 1st of December, yet this is the first one you unlock. Anyway, subject: side stories. Thank you to everyone who worked so hard on the control simulation. I can't imagine how tedious it must have been to so delicately hide Monica's elevated permissions from her without disrupting our connection to the VM. Just to clarify, all of the recordings labelled side stories are part of the control simulation, right? I'm noticing some details of the characters' lives here and there that differ a little bit from those in VM1, even trivial ones. Is it part of the butterfly effect from some of Monica's more fundamental changes, or is it a result of her just messing around with the other characters in VM1 as her own experiment, or for fun? So if I'm keeping track, we have what, like 5 different universes in total? With 3 or 4 of them created and then destroyed by Monica, of course. It's funny because I keep wanting to speculate on which one is the real universe, but in reality they all are. As real as ours is anyway. Signed, Rhea Vorte, System Administrator. So what you've got here, talking about side stories, obviously, particularly the last line is saying that how the universe of DDLC is as real as the universe of and the people from Metaverse Enterprise Solutions, which is pretty interesting. Talking about how there's little details that differ which you probably noticed if you've been if you've been keeping track of things like that. Next email is by Loooore, titled Counter Discrepancy. Date 12/7/2019. From Loooore to Untitled Mail Group. Date Saturday, December 7th, 2019, at 12:06 AM. Subject: Character discrepancy. Having run the control simulation for a while, it's evident that a certain character is missing from any mention or appearance. This makes me speculate that Monica's meddling is less clumsy than we think, because she would have had to manufacture this character herself as a way of forcing interaction between her and the user. Could that be why the character has such limited and dissonant personality traits? Or am I reading too much into this? I'll open an issue to start tracking info and observations on the anomaly of this character appearing. Signed, Loooore Engineer. So obviously this character is the main character. We play as in the main game. Yeah, also it's very interesting about how it's talking about how Monica created the main character, presumably after she found out the true nature of the game, quote unquote. Well, obviously it is a game for us, but obviously in the lore story, that's what I mean. Anyway, you know what I mean. Another email by iVlaster, titled OMG, date of 12/6/2019, from iVlaster to Untitled Mail Group, date Friday, December 6th, 2019, 12:06 AM, subject OMG. Okay, who's responsible for creating a Twitter account for Monica? I think it's hilarious, but for God's sake, don't tell Paula. Ha ha ha. It will get 404'd in a microsecond. Are you just relaying her tweets manually, or did you code some kind of pass-through layer to automate it? Based on the content of the tweets, e.g. not screaming for help, I assume they're coming from the control simulation? Signed, iVlaster, Senior Engineer. Now, obviously, if you didn't know, there is an official Twitter account for Monica, which if you go onto Twitter, then you will be able to find. Email by Paula Minor, staying focused on our goals, 12/5/2019, from Paul Minor to Untitled Mail Group, date Thursday, December 5th, 2019, 12:06 AM, subject: staying focused on our goals. As a reminder to help guide our data collection, any analysis performed should be focused on answering some of these main questions. 1. How does granting elevated access to the VM affect a person's emotional state? 2. How does granting elevated access to the VM affect a person's values and goals? 3. How does someone effectively navigate an experiment with their ability to change the contents of their VM? 4. How is elevated access being weaponized? 5. What actions and values most contribute to the destruction of the universe? 6. Most importantly, how might your observations apply to our own universe? 7. Bonus, how can we present this to upper management as an operation that benefits the company? Unrelated note, whoever changed the color scheme of the desktop to pink, can you please change it back? It's unprofessional and it runs the risk of drawing eyes. Can't scroll down for some reason. But anyway, you know who the email's from. Paula Minor. Anyway, talking about the questions, particularly, how is elevated access being weaponized? Obviously, Monica has elevated access. As you know, she's able to change quite a lot of the game's code. So, how might your observations apply to our own universe? This means that both DDLC and Metaverse Enterprise Solutions, their universes kind of function the same. It's very interesting. Another email by Paula, RE Ethics, date 12/4/2019. From Paula Minor to Untitled Mail Group, date Wednesday, December 4th, 2019, 12:06 AM. Subject RE Ethics. Simply put, it's not our job to arbitrarily decide upon some code of ethics just because we're the first ones to do this, to our knowledge. That's the government's job to figure out, long after we've made enough headway for it to no longer apply to us. It's fundamentally flawed to apply ethical reasoning to this anyway, because humanity's code of ethics is based upon nothing more than our knowledge and understanding of life forms similar to ourselves. We don't have ethics for killing bacteria or plants, only for the creatures that we can convincingly project our emotions onto. The humans in our VMs operate completely differently from us on a fundamental level, and therefore should not be taken any more seriously than a machine that's programmed to print "I feel sad." We're engineers, not philosophers. Signed, Paula Minor, Project Manager. So basically what this email is saying that how they kind of try to justify their actions. Really, there's not really much more to say. Try to justify all the bad things they do. Email by Ravi Vaso. Issues caused by unprotected memory. Date 12/3/2019. From Ravi Vaso to Untitled Mail Group. Date Tuesday, December 3rd, 2019, 12:06 AM. Subject: issues caused by unprotected memory. Has anyone evaluated the side effects this might be caused by sharing a memory pool between multiple VMs rather than allocating them separately? I'm looking at some of the files VM1 is generating and I'm finding some information that definitely shouldn't be there. I haven't seen any evidence that this is actually affecting the inside of the VM itself, so I don't think this is a priority, but it's definitely worth noting. My best guess is that memory being freed from VM2 isn't getting zeroed out, which technically gives VM1 access to it. All the info I have will go into the issue tracker, but I wanted to check if anyone else already noticed something along these lines. Signed, Ravi Vaso, Systems Engineer. Yeah, so the test VM, you go into side stories, remember, that's VM2, which I assume that VM2 is Project Libertina. Also VM1 is DDLC, the main game. Yeah, so saying our VM1 DDLC has access to the files, which is interesting. I think that in the future there might be, if you guys know Mr. Tomatoes and Miss Lemons, you know how you have to go back and forth between each game trying to find the different files, and I think that when Project Libertina comes out there might be a similar situation. You have to go from Project Libertina to DDLC and vice versa, trying to find the different files and things, which would be pretty interesting, honestly. Email by Rotether. Binary data in VM2, question mark. Date 12/2/2019. From Rotether to Untitled Mail Group. Date Monday, December 2nd, 2019, 12:06 AM. Subject: binary data in VM2, question mark. I've made some new headway with VM2. Don't get too excited, it's still impossible to establish any kind of stable connection. Okay, so that definitely clears it up. That is the test VM. But it occurred to me that I could at least run a memory dump through some pattern analysis routines to see if we can decipher any digital data from their VM. I don't want to hog all the server time on a hunch, but I have some preliminary results that indicate the presence of binary computer systems. Based on this, I'm going to schedule 3 days of server time next week to isolate any chunks of memory that appear to be binary data. If successful, we'll definitely be able to find some encoded text and get our first tiny glimpse of VM2. Don't mind me though, just keep going nuts on VM1 and hopefully I'll have more to share soon. Signed, Rotether, Systems Engineer. Yeah, so not really a whole lot to say, but so they've been able to get some data from VM2, which is the little small snippets of sentences that we can see each time we access it, which I assume is what they're referring to. And the final one, which you unlock once you get 100% data collected, another email by Paula, titled "Let's Move On," date 12/1/2019, from Paula Minor to Untitled Mail Group, date Saturday, December 1st, 2019, 12:06 AM. Subject: Let's move on. We need to have a meeting about shifting our focus a little bit. We've reset VM1 how many times now? For real, we've definitely collected as much data as we can from it at this point. We just need to work with what we have and try to increase the stability of our connection to VM2. We've obviously gotten spoiled by the ease of access that VM1 offers us, but it's just unrealistic for someone in real life to be granted a level of elevation even close to monitor kernel access, which you guys don't know is where Monica's name comes from. So they're MONI for monitor, and the K and the A from kernel access, Monica. If we can't establish a stable connection to VM2, then how can we expect to get anywhere when the same scenario inevitably occurs to our own universe? That's interesting. So it means that obviously we know that Metaverse was its own game scenario universe, kind of, but kind of means that someone else has access to that, to like the files and stuff of Metaverse's universe. Anyway, thanks to Rose's work, we were able to acquire a few rudimentary logs. I have an idea on how to increase connection stability to VM2 while maintaining weak hypervisor access to everyone inside on an individual basis. Ironically, it has to do with something that they're building in their own VM. I'll go into detail in a more formal report, but some of the log files indicate attempts of theirs to pull together the access potential of multiple individuals into a single parallel unit. It sounds ridiculous, but if they actually get somewhere with it, then we might have a solid entry point that doesn't heavily intrude upon the VM. I'm going to spin up a read-only hypervisor that we can use to test different ideas like this. The elevation level will be set to monitor adjacent runtime level access. I assume that if you take the capitals from that, it gets the name Marla, which I assume is either a character who will be in Project Libertina or the character we play as in Project Libertina. The VM will just be named Test VM for now, although the parallel access unit they're building in the VM seems to be called Project Libertina, according to the few logs we have. We can change the name once we actually get a decent picture of it. Signed Paula Minor, can't remember what her job title is. Yeah, they're saying Project Libertina would be the new game. Yeah, there aren't any more emails. Also, there's the files and things. If you that's just copyright. Trace back. See. Also, the important bit at the bottom. See the word exception. So, oh geez, I didn't break anything, did I? Hold on a sec. I can probably fix this. I think. Actually, you know what? This would probably be a lot easier if I just deleted her. She's the one who's making this so difficult. Aha! Well, here goes nothing. Obviously, this is Monica. Saying that, if you go through the files and stuff. Also, if you didn't know, there's different number codes, which I'm not going to do, but okay, so this is a scratch disk. Do not use it to store sensitive or permanent things. If you need access to files from the encrypted file share, copy them to your disposable drive and plug it directly into the thin client. Do not copy them here. Rayo is working on setting up a proxy mail server so we can have proper remote communication without having to worry about the higher ups. Keep everything offline until then, Paula. Yeah, so you try open any of these files. So apart from tower keys, you see one of the time 240, which if you guys didn't know, you actually have to change, as I'm playing on console right now. But if you had to, doesn't matter if you're playing on console or PC, you still have to actually change your device's like actual time, and you'll see the file code 221, which will get you into allow you to find a secret file. Yeah, so you just go through all these, and it can't open any of those. Meeting notes 1, which you can open, is updated development timeline, new tasks, test cases for a new genetic model, server time optimization server time optimization idea, automatic data collection, data migration to encrypted file share Monday, VM2 roadblocks, row on VM2, everyone else on VM1 for data collection, ideas for data search types, visual renders, audio data, VM environment changes, persistent variable tampering, timestamps, passing thought patterns, no, excessive server time needed, meeting over time, you know who went on too many tangents again, I need to be more assertive about staying focused. File test, file copy test from disposable drive to thin client. Yeah, that's obviously in the description I'll link a video that link a video to you know, someone who's actually found these number codes and things. So that's just a reset button if you want. Characters, game. The poem words, which you want a guide for the poem making games, and that's where you need to go. But other than that, yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this little lore video. In the next video I'll be starting on a new game. If you did like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It would really mean a lot to me, and it helps the channel out. Anyway, I've got to shoot off now, so take care, lots of love, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye bye.